lay down in a comfortable position. You can have the legs out long or knees bent if that's more comfortable for you. Just take a second to settle into the practice. Arrive here in the space. Today, we are continuing our new theme for the month of February of releasing anger and fostering inner peace, finding inner peace by transmuting our anger. So, this is connected to the principle just for today, I will not be angry. And anger is a valid and often arising emotion for us. And it usually arises because we have a boundary that's been crossed, or there's some unmet expectation or need. And so this is really an invitation for us to tune into that anger and where the source is, and to honor it, but to respond with compassion to ourselves and others instead of responding by reacting. So when we have challenging experiences that maybe activate some of this anger, to pause and take a step back, create some space there so that we can respond kindly to whatever that stimulus is. So in our practice today, we'll be doing grounding postures, a little bit of breath work, tuning into the body's sensations and where we might be holding that anger in the body. Often it's the shoulders and the hips, but there may be somewhere else that's arising for you. We'll also be doing a couple of more restorative postures, which help us to access a deeper level of healing within the body. So we'll be holding those for a little bit longer, but we'll be supported by more props. So I put it in the chat, but if you didn't see it, make sure if you're at home that you have a pillow or two, if you don't have a bolster, and maybe an extra blanket or towel just to kind of build up that support if you don't have blocks. So if you want to take a second to grab those things, you can, and then find some support beneath you as you settle back in to your practice. And just taking a moment to connect with our mantra or with the affirmation for our practice this month. And just notice as you arrive how your initial relationship is to this, what's here. And as we use this throughout the month of our practices, again, noticing how that relationship shifts. So again, our mantra is just for today, I will not be angry. And our affirmation for the month is, I release anger with compassion. I am at peace in the present moment. I release anger with compassion. I am at peace in the present moment. And initially, you might be feeling like that is not true. So notice how that might shift throughout your practice today as you create space to process and integrate the teachings, the messages from any anger that is residing in the body. And let's just begin in Banana Asana, walking the ankles over to the bottom right corner of the mat, crossing the left ankle over the right, and then shifting the shoulders to the top right corner of the mat. Bring the arms to the side, slightly overhead, maybe cactusing the arms in that 90-degree shape. We want the shoulders to be in contact with the support beneath you. So pressed into the earth, finding this kind of C shape with the body. And wherever the arms land above, where you can have the shoulders resting. Take a moment to make adjustments here, anchoring that left hip down, and taking a couple of cleansing breaths in through the nose, exhaling, sighing out through the mouth. And then just let the breath settle and begin to just notice in the right side of the body how it's kind of compressed here, crunching down a little, squishing up any sensations that are residing there in the right side of the body. And we'll shift our awareness to the openness of the left side of the body, noticing the expansion as we breathe and expand our rib cage and our lungs on the inhale. And on the exhale, as we soften and surrender what arises here. Maybe this can kind of symbolize how we feel sometimes when we're angry or anger arises in us and we feel activated. Sometimes we kind of open up and let all of that out. we express it in a way that may not be skillful. So maybe we can come into this space of kind of coming inwards, noticing how it feels on the right side of the body, turning inward and noticing, coming to the breath and seeing if we can find a little ease and understanding where the root of that is. And cross the ankles, bring the arms down to the sides, and maybe just walk the feet in towards the hips as you come back through center. And just taking some gentle windshield wiper motion with the knees back and forth, nice and slow. Maybe pulling the knees in. That feels like something you're called to do. Really taking some movement here to release. Coming out of that pose as we prepare to go to the other side. And when you're ready, bringing the legs back out long, walking the ankles over to the left side of the mat, cross the right ankle over the left, and bring the shoulders to the top left corner, finding a position with the arms, maybe tucking the shoulder blades in under you a little, finding some evenness here, anchoring that right hip down. Coming back into the breath, into the sensations in the body, opening up the side of that right hip, the right side body up into the rib cage and even under the arm, tapping into that heart space. Noticing how this feels on the opposite side, how it feels to now close and shrink that left side of the body, how it feels to open and expand the right side. Uncross the ankles, walking everything back through center. And walking the feet in towards the hips and then out towards the edges of the mat, letting the knees fall in towards each other, placing one hand on the belly and one hand on the heart space. Maybe tucking the chin in towards the chest a little, creating some length in the back of the neck. And come in to just noticing the breath. Feel the breath enter the body through the nose, into the chest and lungs, and into the belly. As you exhale, emptying the belly and the chest and lungs. Inhaling back through the nose, chest and lungs expand, belly expands. Then exhaling, retracing the steps, emptying the belly first, and then the chest and lungs. And just follow the breath in this pattern. If this doesn't feel good to you here, go ahead and just find a rhythm that feels right to you, where you can notice how the breath is moving through these spaces. And we'll come to our affirmation, our mantra for this practice. Just for today, I will not be angry. Just for today, I will not be angry. And we aren't looking to suppress our anger, but rather to listen to it and to create space for it, to reflect on it just for today, to meet it with compassion and kindness. And release the arms to the sides, walk the feet back into the hips. Cross the right ankle behind the left knee, coming into that figure four shape, bending the right knee towards the back of the room. And just noticing here as you settle in, find some evenness in the hips. Maybe a gentle rock side to side to find that. Play around with how much you want to draw that knee towards the back. Maybe placing a hand here. The further you guide your knee back, the more you may feel this in the right hip and in the lower back. So find where you begin to just kind of feel that sensation wherever it is for you, and then pause there. Just take a couple of breaths and then decide if you want to press on or let up a little bit. Maybe using this as a tool to just really notice sensations in the body. And as we move through our practice, when those sensations arise that are maybe a little uncomfortable, unfamiliar, or hopefully not painful. But maybe that's sometimes like our anger. It's uncomfortable. And so when we feel that sensation arising in us, whatever it is, maybe it's in the heart center, maybe it's feeling an increased heat in the body in some way, we can pause and breathe and notice that anger arise, notice that sensation in the body, and make a choice to go deeper, to move forward with it, or to back off a little bit, to look at it from some space, creating space between the sensation and you. And you can stay here, or if you'd like to draw the legs in towards the body, coming into that reclined pigeon, reaching through and interlacing the fingers behind the left leg, deepening that sensation. You can just make the choice that feels good here for your body. There is no right or wrong way. There's just what feels right now in this moment. And release the legs down if you have them pulled in. Uncross and take a movement here that feels good to release. Maybe windshield wipers, or lengthening the legs out long, pointing and flexing the toes. Maybe making some circles with the ankles. And then walking the feet back into the hips, knees bent. Cross the left ankle behind the right knee, coming into that figure four shape again. And just finding where you want to settle into this side. Pausing just in this first shape here, tuning into the sensations in the body. Maybe applying gentle guidance for that left knee to move away from the body. Maybe not. Maybe here we bring to mind something that has caused us some activation of anger, maybe today or in the past couple of days or weeks, even. And without judgment, because sometimes we tend to judge our anger. We're judgmental of other people's anger, judgmental of our anger, and maybe just holding some space here for that and just saying, no, I was angry. Why was that there? And being curious about it. Just holding space for that. Sending some loving, compassionate energy towards that version of you. If you'd like to draw the legs in towards the body here, you can. Just making an intentional choice to do so. And if that honors your body here in this moment, releasing the legs back down if you have them pulled in, uncrossing and drawing the knees in towards the body. Just taking a little rock side to side, a little massage for the lower back and the sacrum here. And then when you're ready, we'll come onto our bellies on the mat. So maybe rolling over to one side Making your way there. And come into Sphinx pose, bringing the elbows underneath the shoulders or even a little further out towards the edges of the mat. Forearms pressed into the earth. Draw the shoulder blades together, opening the heart space towards the front of the room. Gaze comes between the hands, lengthen the crown forward. Let go of any tension you might be holding in the legs or in the glutes. Taking a couple of deep belly breaths here. Let the weight of your body release any tension from the front side of the hips or from the space of the navel. See if you can let the weight really sink towards the earth as you exhale. And settle in, finding stillness here. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears, pulled back, drawing the shoulder blades together and really connecting with the heart center. Maybe just envisioning warm light of compassion flowing through the heart space, through the shoulders, outwards, filling the body, traveling into any of those spaces that may be holding on to stories that activate anger within us. Sending this energy there to soften the anger, to release it if it's no longer needed. One of my go-to quotes from Buddha is holding on to anger is like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. Holding on to anger that we no longer need is causing more harm and suffering to ourselves than to others. Maybe the time has passed. They're no longer thinking of the situation. And our body is still holding on to it for some reason. So can we soften and can we release the anger from the body here? And if at any time you need to lower down all the way, just crossing your forearms at the top of the mat and resting your forehead, you can. We won't be here too much longer. If you haven't already, go ahead and lower all the way down, bringing the heart space towards the earth and resting your head on your forearms. Just taking a few rounds of breath here. Bring the hands under the shoulders, press back, finding tabletop, and we'll take some cat cows here before we move into the more restorative posture. So knees stacked under the hips, wrists under the shoulders, palms pressing into the earth, tops of the feet pressing into the earth. On the inhale, drop the belly, tailbone rises, gaze comes forward. Exhale, pressing through the hands, rounding the spine, tuck the tailbone. Gaze comes towards the navel. Inhale, coming into cow, dropping the belly. Maybe the gaze comes just a little bit higher. Then exhale, really pulling in, turning inwards, drawing the gaze towards the navel and tucking the tailbone down. Move through these at your own pace. A few rounds here, the next minute or so. Taking some gentle movement just to get some of that energy flowing in the body. Maybe we've begun to release, let go of, using the breath here. Each exhale, thinking about letting go, releasing what doesn't serve you. Come back through tabletop and just walk the hands back, coming to rest on the heels or in a comfortable position as I just kind of share the setup for this supported twist. So you'll want to bring your bolster to the mat and just bring it lengthwise, or if you're at home and you just have a pillow or two, just kind of stacking those. And then we'll want a blanket to fold up for a little support here, and maybe a block or some books or something. You can just stack a couple of blankets if you're at home. And you may want to just kind of play around with the height of this as we get started, but we'll bring our right hip to the edge of the bolster. And then we'll be placing our blocks or blankets and towels up to a position that's going to feel comfortable here as we rest. So it may take a minute to kind of figure out how you want this to be, and that's okay. But we'll walk the hands to the sides of the bolster. And so we're just kind of resting and let letting our body kind of fold over the bolster here, and then bringing the knees bent and up towards the bolster, however that's comfortable for you. And you may want it lower down or further up. Once you find what feels comfortable to rest here, making your adjustments as needed, just bringing the body towards the bolster and then resting the head. However, you can find some stillness here and feel fully supported. A little more of a gentle twist, maybe, as you settle in. Thinking about releasing here from the belly. Deep breath. Releasing from the navel. Drawing the navel in towards the spine. Detoxing our body. Transmuting our anger or frustration. And walk the hands up on your next breath, slowly coming up. You can leave the props where they are, and we'll just come to a seated position to pause for a moment and just notice. Coming back maybe to your intention for your practice. Noticing how it feels for that pose to just leave the body. And we'll move to the opposite side. So I'm going to swing mine around so I'm not facing away from you, but you can just turn to the opposite side, leaving your props where they are. And if there is anything you notice that you may want to support you better here, just making those adjustments, bringing the hips to the edge of the bolster, knees bent, and then walking the hands along the sides, bringing the body to rest over the props, and then drawing the knees up a little towards the heart space. Feel free to place a blanket or anything that you need in between the knees and ankles. Bringing the heart space towards the bolster. You can have the head turned here or forehead to the bolster. Take a couple of breaths and then soften into the twist. See if you can let the shoulders relax here. And your next breath, walking the hands back, slowly coming up. And for our final resting posture, you can come into Shavasana if you like, or a variation of legs up the wall. If you're at home and you have an empty wall that you'd like to put your legs up against and just kind of bring the hips to the base of the wall there, you can. Or you can stack a couple of pillows. If you have blocks, you can kind of make this little T shape, placing the blocks and then placing the bolster over them. You kind of make a little table here. And then you can have the blanket to cover up if you like, or to lay down. And then we'll just bring the legs onto the bolster, walking the hands back, and just having our legs elevated here helps to kind of reset the nervous system, bring us into a place of rest. You can do this anytime you're feeling anxious. Having the feet above the heart space helps to regulate and calm the nervous system. So, however you'd like to be today, you just rest and integrate everything that you've done. Take a couple of cleansing breaths in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Let the breath settle. Let the arms and legs be heavy, resting against whatever support they have. And begin to just let go of your practice today, let go of anything that did or didn't happen as expected. Using these moments to just rest and receive, integrating everything that you've done, everything you've released, anger that you've processed. Begin to create some movement in the fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. And slowly coming back, taking any final movement here that you feel you need before coming to a seated position. And we'll just close with the hands, heart space, taking a couple of breaths. And just checking in with our affirmation. I release anger with compassion. I am at peace in the present moment. Finding gratitude for this time to listen, to pause, and to befriend the messenger of anger within us. I'm grateful for bodies that move through this practice in any way whatsoever, for time and space to practice. Thank you for joining me in this practice today. May you walk in loving kindness. May you share your unique gift. May you remember your true essence is not anger, but love. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.